Welcome back to the show, 6:20 a.m. It is 7:32, and it's time to talk some health. Everyone wants to look good in the workplace or even at home. The show, it's all over television. We have shows to talk about looking good and plastic surgery, and just really, it's more than just looking good on the outside. It makes you feel good on the inside as well. Joining me now is Dr. Charles Powell of Smart New You. Welcome.
Thank you.
Before we get into that, we talked about healthcare. I'm going to bring you in real quickly, Paul. Healthcare in some of these countries like Ecuador, what are they like?
What I've experienced so far in Ecuador and what I've heard from American expats that have lived there long enough to have had major healthcare experiences, they say the healthcare in Ecuador specifically in the major cities is extraordinary.
Wonderful.
That it's more like getting care like it was 30 or 40 years ago here.
Wow. More personal?
And
is that
very,
it?
very much so. A dime on the dollar here. And the reason why there was no malpractice law in Ecuador until this year.
There you go.
Interesting.
Isn't
Interesting.
that fascinating?
Absolutely.
So you might want to set up shop down there.
I'm telling you, it's drawing me in more and more. I mean, he's got one listener definitely interested.
Yeah, that's two, you and I. Let's talk about your line of work. Cosmetic surgery is obviously Dallas, Texas. I don't know, is it the birthplace of cosmetic surgery and enhancements?
You know, it would seem that way, Brian. You think cosmetic surgery, you think New York, you think L.A., and Dallas-Fort Worth is actually a very large hub of that. A lot of great procedures originated from here and are performed here still.
Yeah, okay. This is just one of the businesses that you have. But
Correct.
Have you seen, what kind of growth chart have you seen in this line of work?
It's been pretty amazing. All my businesses are in healthcare, and it's a very economically resistant business. In fact, cosmetics especially. You would think cosmetics of being somewhat of a luxury, but there's something called the lipstick factor that they have shown that every single dive in the economy, lipstick sales have gone up, and cosmetic sales tend to do the same. And the reason being, when times are bad, people just want to feel good and look good.
Yeah, I told my kids, we walked out of Specs the other night. I had to go in there and get something, and we walked out, and I said, Bryce, this is one business right here that when it was next to a tile shop that did home improvement, I said, when the economy dips, the guy right here selling tile may see an impact because obviously more people aren't remodeling their homes or whatever. This place right here on my right, and I'm pointing to Specs, they will always thrive because you're right, people are always going to buy alcohol,
right,
and things like that. And so the lipstick factor, that's the
lipstick
same.
Factor.
I like that. What types of procedures are you seeing that people are doing?
You know, cosmetic procedures and cosmetic surgery has always been viewed as invasive, long recovery times and whatnot. But now more and more, you see a trend going more to what we do, and that's in-office-based procedures that are non-invasive to minimally invasive, quick recovery times. Most of my surgeries are done on Thursday, back to work on Monday, if not faster.
Wow. So you can get these things done over an extended weekend.
Absolutely.
And come back.
If not, back to work the next day in a lot of the cases.
Okay. We talked about this before you came on. Botox. It's huge. And,
it is.
And more, you wouldn't know it, but more and more men are getting Botox.
They are. And you know, Botox is kind of a gateway for a lot of people that are getting into cosmetics.
It's a gateway procedure.
It is. It's a gateway procedure because they're experimenting around with it. It's simple. It's just a quick procedure, back to work. Results can be astounding. Results can be bad.
I think I had a bad Botox job a few years ago.
Right.
I look like the Joker.
Oh.
Michael, you know what the Joker looks like in Batman, where their eyes go up like this?
Yeah.
Which one? You talking about Cesar Romero? You still look like that.
Yeah. Well, maybe I need to go see Dr. Powell over here. It was bad.
Yeah.
And I don't.
It's a very common mistake. You know, a lot of people have tried to learn Botox by painting by the numbers, and it's an art. You can't do it that way.
Like at Walgreens, getting a coloring book and just learning how to do it. Women, I mean, is there a percentage of more men are getting it? Women, or is it?
You know, it's an interesting question. So it's always been viewed as a female-dominant industry. For example, probably the major procedure that we do for men are hair transplants. We're one of the busiest hair transplants.
Is it
Neograph. NeoGraft. NeoGraft is one of the procedures that we perform. We've really curtailed it to a very proprietary procedure that we do. I won't go into the details, but that's been a predominantly male industry. And, for our body contouring, for our facial procedures and whatnot, that's been more of a female. But over the last 3 to 5 years, we've seen a big crossover of men getting body procedures, liposuction, facial procedures done. And I think a huge drive of that, Brian, is really coming from the workplace. I do, because I get more and more guys, especially in the downturn in 2008, that came in, older gentlemen saying, I need to compete with a younger market. I need you to help me.
Interesting. So
Absolutely.
that they see, like, let's say you're in sales,
right?
And you're an old guy like me, 46, but yeah, they hiring all these young salespeople in here that may look a little sharper than I do. They feel a competition to look younger.
They do. It's a drive, and for a lot of them, I really have to get in with them on the economy of what they're doing. I've got to sleep at night. I don't want to know I'm spending their last dollar on something that will help them a lot, but I really pay attention to that. But no, they would be out of work coming in saying, I'm competing with a younger market. I need you to help me. And we do great packages to pull that back together for them. The aging face and the aging body is so interesting, not just from hormonal changes, hair loss, gravity. Yeah. Gravity pulls things in directions we don't want it to be, right?
Yeah. And maybe making poor decisions by getting all these tattoos. Now let's talk about that. Laser tattoo removal. When I first heard, this is years ago when I guess when the technology came out, right?
Right.
That you could reverse this. Has that just skyrocketed or what?
It's interesting. Everybody's, well, not everybody, but 70% of the population has a tattoo they do not want. And we usually will cover them up. I'm ex-Navy for 16 years. I have plenty of artwork I picked up along the way, and it's all in places that are tasteful, that are hidden. I've removed several already.
So this tramp stamp I have back on here, you can take that off for me, right?
Absolutely, Right. And, it's funny because when we were first marketing tattoo removal, I joked around with some URLs such erasehisname.com, erasehername.com. So many people in relationships will get their current significant other put on their body. I'm like, please.
Yeah, that's a mistake. I've always felt like that. All right, Dr. Charles Powell joining us from a Smart New You. Now, you're in Dallas.
I am.
Okay. Nice area to set up shop. We've talked.
Absolutely.
I mean, like you said, but we compete with the cities of L.A. and New York and Miami as far as cosmetic procedures being done by far.
We do, but we're very leading edge. I have people fly in from all over the country and all over the world for our procedures.
Okay.
Especially hair.
Hair.
Right.
Big thing. Because I've always said, I think of losing my hair. As I get older, everybody obviously, I guess most either it goes back, the hairline goes back,
right,
or on top. Now,
lots of different patterns.
Okay, if I'm itching right now, see a spot I'm itching at right now?
Yeah, I see it.
Is that if I'm itching right there? Does that mean those hair follicles are starting to fall out?
No, not at all. I mean, they're
because it scares me every time I have to itch it. I feel like I'm just itching out hair.
You feel like you're digging your hair out.
I feel like I'm digging it out.
You're not.
Correct.
You're safe. You're fine.
Oh, God.
But, there's really no symptoms of it. And it's so variable. It's a genetic disorder for male pattern baldness, which females can get male pattern baldness as well. Probably about 7-8% of our hair transplant business is for women. We actually do quite a bit of work. It's devastating for women that lose their hair. They can't just wear a short haircut. They can't just accept that, hey, this is okay in our society. They can't shave their heads. They walk out of the office trying to swipe their credit cards, and I'm slapping their hand down going, I need you to think about this.
Wow. Yeah, I could see that. For a guy, we could just shave it all off and say, hey, that's it. That's my look now. But yeah, for females, it look quite different.
Yeah.
Dr. Charles Powell joining us from a Smart New You. Now, you've got another procedure on here, and I just want to mention it. I don't know. We can dance around exactly what it is. There's some scientific terms we can talk about, but females are getting more. This procedure, this rejuvenation, is becoming a little bit more popular. Let's talk about that.
It's interesting. So I'll get into it. I always joke around at the conferences that I go to where I'm speaking about this, and I say, how many people today spent their day stomping out fires? And everybody in the room will raise their hands. I'm like, we're about reigniting them when you get home. And, for a lot of women over time, they experience different problems from a female sense. Vaginoplasty and labiaplasty is a $4.5 billion a year industry.
I saw the figures on that. I had no idea it was that big.
It's amazing. And we've found a way to do it non-surgically, no anesthesia, no incisions, 45-minute procedure time.
Wow.
It's amazing results.
That is amazing. How long have you guys been doing that?
We've been on this for about 3 months now. The procedure's been under research for a little bit over a year. Thermiva, if they go to our website, there are some very explicit pictures that show what we do. So
I'm not clicking on
be
those,
warned.
by the way. So yeah, I just clicked on the learn about us part.
It's absolutely amazing. You know, the benefits that it's getting women, not just from a cosmetic sense, but from urinary incontinence and other areas of just the enjoyment of the relationship for both the men and the women. Men are coming in and buying this for their wives. Wives are coming in and buying this for their men. It's improving relationships all around. It's really interesting.
There you go. Okay. The website is smartnewyou.com. Dr. Charles Powell, thank you for joining us. You want to hang around the studio for a little bit?
I'd love
to
to
talk to you some more.